Well, if you look around this room, every single one of you are already a content creator. For a while there, I heard this term. I thought, well, what is this? What is this? Well, if you make content, you're able to create things. You're able to put things out there. Today, with our little phones here, it makes it so much easier to make content. I was looking on my flashback from Facebook this morning, and there's a picture of myself in front of the same hotel I'm in. 10 years ago, I presented here at Time, and so I think it's been 10 years since I've been back to San Antonio. I think it's been, so I usually don't get a chance to come out to TMA unless I get an offer to come over here and give a lecture and whatnot. I teach at the Stephen F. Austin State University, a history of rock and roll class, a history of jazz, guitar. Used to do electronic music and whatnot, so I teach a lot of really cool classes. And over the last 10 years, it's really amazing the amount of technology, how advanced the technology has gone. I have another session coming at 1:15 talking about making music with a Commodore 64. Some of y'all might remember that computer from back in the day. And if you think about, you always hear the joke that my watch here, my little Casio watch here, is more powerful than the computer they sent to the moon. In some ways it's kind of true, in some ways it's kind of not, because that was an integrated computer. That computer was designed for one thing, make sure they can navigate to the moon and back, and it was literally crash proof. So apparently the software was like wound in there with the wires. I don't even know how you do that and whatnot. And so if that computer crashed, they just restarted it and it worked. Your phone, which of course is a lot more powerful than that computer, how often does your phone crash? Would you risk your life on this phone getting you to the moon and back? I would rather take that slower computer. And they were basically saying that computer back in the 60s was about the processor speed of a Commodore 64 about 10, 15 years later, which is kind of, and that was like my first computers, those 8-bit computers and whatnot. So let's kind of dive into this as well. And I think a lot of us are, especially that aren't as adept at using smartphones as our students are kind of a little bit afraid of making content and posting it online. And all of you are educators. All of us know a great deal about the subjects that we talk about and teach, of course. We're mainly focused on music, but it doesn't matter what you teach. You're pretty much an expert on what you're doing, or you know a lot about whatever you're teaching as well. So I'm going to kind of just dive into this as well. Here's some things that I've already proved that you're a content creator. Some of you make music, record music, play music. Of course, how many photos do you take with your phone daily? And of course, the students you have, it's even more than that. Videos, you can make videos very easily on the phone. 10 years ago, it was a lot harder. When I used to make videos 10 years ago, last time I was here, the camera I had was tape, and I had to hook it up to the computer, dump it real time, and then take it in iMovie and edit it, then upload it to something called YouTube. And I remember the first time I uploaded a video to YouTube was actually at this convention. I made a video, and there was something called Google Video, and it was really slow. And I heard something about YouTube. I wanted to go try it out, and it's like, man, this is fast. It got up within a day. This is fantastic. Sometimes on Google Video, it would take a week, maybe even more, like 10 days for a video to go live. I know, in some ways. And just kind of briefly talking about my experiences, I have over 4,000 videos on YouTube. So the last 10 years, I posted a video every day, and sometimes more than that. So it's the reason why I say that is it is possible to make content daily. Most of us don't need to do that, and especially the content that I put a lot of time in takes longer than that. Most of the things now is a lot faster to make something with a phone. So when I think back 10 years ago, when I actually had to upload, dump the footage, and when I edited, it was just a miracle in a lot of ways for that to happen. Some of you write, of course. Blogs are a great way, and you make posts, of course. Web pages, some of y'all can design web pages, and books. One of the big things right now in higher education, and we talk about, is OERs, Open Educational Resources. And I really think that's going to be the future for a lot of our students. That one of the big things that we talk about is how expensive books are. I tell my students that my most expensive book when I went to college in 1989 was the Oppmann Theory book. Some of y'all might have used that one. It was $35. However, I got to use it for 2 years because we used it for the 1 year. I got to use it for 1 full year because then there was a second book, of course. But so today, books can be $300-400 a class and whatnot. And some of these resources, like history books or English books or language books, some of them are available. If you haven't checked out OERs, that might be something to look into. And I know even if you go into elementary and high school, middle school area, there's going to be some textbooks online that you can go find information, of course. I think a lot of us know about like Khan Academy, about going to do science and math and things like that. And I steer a lot of students, even college students, to that website because it's just, the content's really a lot of quality content that's there. And that's content creator. And so, a lot of aspects I'll ask you, just kind of rhetorically at first, what kind of content could you make for your students? Obviously, you have lesson plans you can put up there. Can you put little instructional videos, how to finger a recorder, how to finger a guitar chord, how to play a piece of music, just playing a piece of music so they can hear it, sing something that's there, do some harmonies, do some of the Orff instruments. Of course, if you're in middle school and high school, there's all these different instruments you can use as well. Something that's really difficult rhythm-wise. So there's really, in a lot of ways, there's so many things out there, and all of us probably use YouTube all the time to learn something. Any song I want to learn on guitar, and want to learn the guitar solo from My Sharona from the Knack. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, that little part there. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, the solo is online, and you can go watch it. And when I was in my youth, when I was 16 years old, playing guitar, I had to get a magazine and go to my guitar lessons and maybe go to the library and find something, but it wasn't as fast as it is today, finding almost anything. And also, I want to hopefully leave you with this as well, is that the internet gives us so much. I really feel in a lot of ways that we need to give back to the internet by putting things that are useful to other folks. One video that is one of the bigger videos I had on my channel is how to repair a clicking refrigerator. And my refrigerator's clicking, it wasn't working. I thought, well, let me go look it up on YouTube. And I found what it was. And I thought, well, I've got the part, put it in there. And I thought, oh, well, I'll just videotape this. And put it in there, hundreds of thousands of views. How to take out your 1999 Mustang car stereo and put another one in there. These type of videos get tons and tons of views. And a lot of my, one of the biggest ones I have as well is how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on the piano. Things like that, educational things. I can put a lot of time making a short film, 500 views, 30 views, how to do something, how to play a song that everybody wants to know how to play, tons of views on that. So all of you guys are already content creators, or all of you could be content creators. And I think my mindset really clicked in a lot of ways, thinking, I've been a content creator for, really honestly since I became a teacher. I make content. Back in the day, we would give out handouts. That's making content. Today, you make a handout you can share as a PDF online with anybody in the world. And I think that's really an amazing process and whatnot. So let me, I was creating all these anyways when I became when I realized I was a content creator. So let me, I'll just throw this up here to kind of talk about the generations and whatnot. I don't know all these in depth, and most of us are probably on this side over here. The lost generation, the silent generation, baby boomer, baby bust, the millennials. Of course, you hear those terms all the time. Generation Y, Z, and X, and here are actually there's my source down there. There's kind of the where it starts and where it ends, and so very soon we're going to have a lot of the Gen Alpha, whatever that's the new one that's going to click as the name, but the Gen Z now definitely have those that we're teaching right now as well. And if you go back to basically my dad's time, the baby boomer generation, my parents, how fast this technology changed from that time period to where we're at today. And I always think about this, was the Wright brothers first flew, was it 1904, wasn't it? 3, something like that? And they flew like 300 feet or something, it was very small. And then in 1969, we put someone on the moon. And that's like 60 some odd years. That's how, I mean, to me, it's amazing amount of technology. And I really think in the future, in a lot of aspects, how we're going to learn, how our students are going to learn, how their kids and their grandkids are going to learn, is whatever the incarnation of the internet's going to be. That's how we're going to learn, because it's already that way now. Because it's just the easiest, most economical way. And think, if you are anywhere in the world, as long as you have the internet, you can learn calculus, you can learn music theory, you can learn how to play the piano and things like that. You can do these Skype lessons. As long as you have a computer, there's a little box here, or a phone, something that can hook up to the internet, and you can see an image and hear something, you can make content. So in a lot of aspects, you know, for a lot of us now, buying a CD, you know, this is my this is the CD about the Commodore 64. I made another CD. No one wants these, you know. They don't want these. They rather have something that's online. Put something on Spotify, then they actually will listen to it. I doubt they're going to ever pay for a song. They may pay subscription. Right now, if you're a student, apparently you can pay $5 a month and get Spotify if you're a student. And you also get, like, I think Hulu free in there or something like that as well. But all the services kind of have that for the college students right now, so they can, because they want them to go stream music. Think back to '99 when peer-to-peer sharing happened, those networks like Napster. And I remember this at the time, just thinking, I can't believe they're not selling this, because there's obviously a demand. I can't believe it took Steve Jobs to go to all these record companies and said, listen, if you don't make a legal way for people to download music, people are going to continue just to steal it. I don't know why that was some epiphany. I could have done that the first day. You know, of course, iTunes, you know, really changed the paradigm on that aspect, and we don't even, I doubt most of us have bought a physical copy of the CD. The cool thing is, just kind of talking briefly about being a content creator, if you do want to make a CD, you can make a CD like this available on Amazon Prime. There's like a little area there, and you can buy it for $5. If I could have done CDs like this 20 years ago for $5, I would have bought a bunch of them, sold them for $10. So it's pretty amazing that, you know, this print on demand, and I don't know how long that's going to last. 'Cause I don't know. I'm not quite sure how much longer people are going to actually use CDs as well. I don't think they're not going to, obviously not worry about a DVD, going to a bookstore, record store, rent a DVD. Also this here, remember, some of y'all remember going home to watch a specific television show at a specific time. Then we had a VCR, so we had a little bit more freedom, but you have like 6 hours of content you record a week. And now, I don't even think about it. There's a show that wants to be on, it's going to be streaming on their network app now. And all of them, you know, so that idea of running over there and doing that is just no longer around. I'll make the arguments with this here. They're going to learn from YouTube or whatever type of streaming service. They're going to learn from Wikipedia. I think Wikipedia is one of the most amazing things that's come out of the internet. And I think in a lot of ways Wikipedia gets kind of because it's not a primary source. Well, neither are, you know, encyclopedias. It's a second, you know, it's not a primary source. It's a secondary source. Leads you to primary information. And I usually pick up, like in my rock history class, I pick Jimi Hendrix. We go look down. There's 200, you know, citations there. I'm going to make an argument that's probably pretty valid. You know, if it has no citation, then maybe it's not as valid. But there's anybody I talk about, Elvis Presley, anybody, Little Richard, anybody I talk about in rock history or jazz history is going to have, you know, hundreds of citations there and whatnot. Whatever the internet will be then, I don't know what it will be, but that's not going away. Some type of smartphone, whatever they call it in the future. I don't know what that's going to be. And they're going to create content. They think in this content. And right now, specifically, they think in these short bits of information. If you think about something that you can look at, you think it's something you can see. I remember 20 years ago going to watch a play. And about 15 minutes into the play, I would see people kind of rustle a little bit. And what I finally figured out what it was, and correct me if you don't think this is correct, I think what happens is that people were used to commercials. And they would go to the bathroom or go get something to eat. So after about 15 minutes or so, some of y'all remember that from back in the day when I used to watch the A-Team. Well, I had 4 minutes to go get, you know, some Kool-Aid or whatever I was going to go do. And then now, when I go there, it's not quite that way. But I do see a little bit of visceral, where they're kind of looking at their hands, because they're so used to like having some type of, you know, and you know, some text message comes in, some type of content coming in. And so this, and then in this medium here, good or bad, it's just, the medium is a message in some ways, if you know that reference, is that short bits of information are just the way that the students are learning right now. Will that change? I don't know. I like to have longer conversations about things, but I've been teaching for 22 years now, and I definitely have seen a change in how students approach learning, and it is shorter information is a lot of times better. And also, I do believe in this as an educator. A lot of times, less is more. You know, if I have 500 slides here, you're not going to remember it. That's just too much information. It's almost better to have 5 slides. I have more than that, but I think I have 30. But it's you know, having tons of information there. And I remember teaching guitar lessons. Sometimes, you know, it's better to get to the point where we can get the C chord down than to learn, you know, oh, here's a G major 7, and here's this, that. Focus on one thing and get there. So that's short bits of information and whatnot. So all these things here, short sound bites, memes. Memes is something relatively new to us, sharing wise. Short bits of text, short videos. You think of most of the viral videos are, you know, 7 seconds, under 30 seconds for the most part. And so if you think about what things you can do for your classes, what would be more likely watched by your students? A 30-minute video that's in depth, or a 45-second video that covers something really specifically fast? You know, obviously the shorter piece of information is going to help out a lot more than that. And same thing for us. A lot of times when I go to a YouTube video, I'll fast forward to get to the information I want. You know, cut to the chase. One of the things that I learned a long time about creating, do not bore me with your boring content. You're boring music, you're boring film, you're boring whatever. Get to the point. Do not bore me when you create stuff. And I think with technology today, this is, I was looking around for a meme. That one is really shout out to me because it says a lot of things, you know. And obviously that's not the picture there, that wasn't specifically for this meme probably. Someone found that photo there and thought that would be funny. And I do, at some point I would like to do a session and talk about you know, the morality of memes and social media and things like that. Just because you can take a video of somebody falling down, should you post it online and laugh at somebody? And I think those are some moral questions that you know, if you're hanging out with your friends and they do that, that's one thing. Yeah, if you know them, that's one thing, you know. But now when you share it, now, you know, a million people could see it. And I think back to, some of y'all might remember this, the Star Wars kid, that one that was a lightsaber. And apparently it really, you know, kind of messed him up in his life a little bit. You know, for me, I would have loved it. Like, oh yeah, this is great. But, you know, he's just doing something to test out something, didn't expect it to go, you know, millions and millions of people have seen that. Here's something I made real quick, just to show, like, with cartoons. This was like promoting a film I made. I have a friend that was in speech pathology, and she showed me this here, and basically how cats talk. This is called, anybody know it's cat memes or cat? Anyways, I know the cats are really big on the internet, and so I can speculate, you know, anyways, so you can read through that. Humans like cats more. This is actually, I saw this online, this is actually the campus at SFA. And so when I saw that, I've ate at that cafeteria before, and I saw that as a meme that went, yeah, I don't know, somewhat national. And that was the name of the meme there that went around. Our university, of course, uses social media. You look at their Facebook, their Twitter account, their Instagram. All these things are really, you know, connect a great deal with trying to stay connected with all the things going on with everybody. They can find stuff and everything. And like I mentioned before, Spotify would be a lot more useful to put your music out than a CD. And actually, I'll mention this. It's easier than I thought. It costs a few dollars, but it works really well. I tried it out as an experiment, and you can go to somewhere. There's a bunch of them. Like one place is like CD Baby. You upload your stuff there. You pay whatever it is for an album or a single, and you pick whatever places you want to put it on there. And within a week, within 3 or 4 days, it was up there. And so I can take my phone now and say, play Herbert Mitchell on Spotify, and we'll find the couple songs I have on there. So that, to me, that's really amazing in a lot of aspects. Don't think you're going to get rich from it, because I think every play is 0.00001%, something like that. So, yeah. So, of course, social media is everywhere. Remember when email came out, some of y'all, how innovative that was? Students don't think an email. I get an email today, and they come and ask me if I got the email. They don't check the email. So their mindsets of that is different. Something that's instant with Twitter, something that's instant with some type of on Instagram messaging things or more. Phone calls. My phone almost never rings in my office. I don't know if you all are the same way. The people I talk on a phone just is very far from. I just recently got rid of my landline phone about 6 months ago, because never used it for anything. And of course, the idea of television, running there to watch television. So basically, kind of sum this up: verbs, of text, memes, sounds, short videos, and I remember we used to really think of the idea of competing with television in the classroom. Now, hypothetically, in my class, someone can have a laptop and watch videos, listen to music, shop, do other homework and things like that, and it's interesting. On the phone, sometimes I automatically think, well, if they're on the phone, they're not paying attention. Well, I have students that actually take notes on their phone. That's what they carry with them. They get a little upset they can't use the content systems, the LMSs that we use to take their tests on there, because they really have a phone than have a laptop. And a lot of times, hey, this test isn't working. And say, well, did you take it on your phone? Yeah, well, it doesn't work on your phone quite yet. I'm sure it will, but basically taking the test online requires a computer. And competing with the whole internet is it's kind of daunting in a lot of aspects. The thing, though, I will say this, that if you're making content for your classrooms, obviously you can direct them to that, and so you have your content go to 30 students or 300 students, however many students you have. However, I think you're going to find, especially if it's something that's useful for your class, other folks will find it useful as well. And even simple things you wouldn't think about can get big hits. And not that getting big hits is kind of what we all are striving for. We're educators, right? So if someone gets some knowledge from us, we one person, two people, whatever. So of course, all these ones you've heard before. Snapchat is the one I least understand. The idea of going on there, taking a photo and putting different things on, making like a dog face or halos or whatever. I just don't understand that. And someone posted a meme saying, 50 years from now, hey, look at Grandma, the photo of her with a halo on or something like that. That's going to be the future. And I do try to mention to the students that whatever they post online, no matter what they say, it's there forever. It's online forever for basically. And a lot of things you hear now, not to get depressing and whatnot, but how many folks have lost jobs because of things they posted on social media and whatnot. So as educators, I think we're all hyper aware of that and whatnot. And I remember when I taught elementary music, before I said anything, I always thought, if I stub my foot, that hurts. I always thought before I said anything when I taught public school. And even today when I teach at the university level, I always think of what I'm going to say, and especially if I post anything online, I definitely think about that a great deal as well. So let me talk about some of the equipment that I use to go through and make this type of content. And I'll start off with a light here. Here is a light here. This is pretty amazing to me. This is about a $20 light, maybe $15. It has a battery, but you can also plug it in as well. And this is a stand. The stand's about $10, $15, something like that. The stand gets up pretty high. I won't make it go all the way up. But if you look at this is this half level here. And one of the things about making content is, especially video or photos, is bad lighting. Right there, we have a window there. There's some great lighting there. So if I went against the window, have the window on the side, have the sun come into me, it's great there. If I put this full blast, just to show you, I mean, it's almost, I can't look at it because it's blinding basically. So this can help out tremendously in making content. These type of stands here. This particular one here also, you can put on a camera, and here's the main camera I shoot most of my content now is with a DSLR camera. About 12 years ago, I went to film school also, and we started off with, we're still using tape at that point. Then the DSLRs came out, meant I can change the lens and get the cinematic look and whatnot. And one reason I went to film school was because I was a film composer, and I thought, if I made films, I could write music for them. And then all my friends in film schools, hey Herb, you compose music, will you score my film? I'm thinking, yes, I will. So I score way more films in film school than I did with my master's degree in music composition. So there you go. So this one here actually can fit on top of a camera as well. And so I love these. I have like 5 of these. These are just great portable lights. They're bright as all get out and everything.
How long does the battery last?
This particular battery I paid a little bit for. It's about 3 hours full blast. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now obviously as time goes on, the battery will die out.
It's lithium ion.
Yeah, I believe it is. And so I usually have 4 of these batteries whenever we're going to shoot. I usually have 2 for each camera. 2 for each light I carry out. And a lot of the short films I do now, when I go outside, these are the lights I carry because I have to have a generator and or plug in. So they're fantastic for that as well. One of the biggest things also about making content is good audio. So I got 2 lavs on here. They're kind of expensive. This here is I know it's a jumble of wires. This is a $20 bill here. This lav here is a wired one. It's got 20 feet. You put it on you. You put it. The rule in film school is this: you have a short shotgun is body length. A regular microphone is arm length, and a lav is hand length. So basically, you just remember your body. You can figure out and point it towards the mouth. So that's audio 101 there, and it just makes sense. This here. When you can use this for your smartphone. If you use it for the camera, it needs a little bit of power. So there's a battery in there. You just turn it on to green. But if I plug this into my phone right now, it will work as well. And some of y'all might want to do interviews. And I just recently bought this one here. It's 2 of these lavs, and that way you could do interviews. I also use this to record my classical guitar. If some of y'all have done some mic techniques, I point one towards the neck and one towards the where my fingers are at, and it's all right. It's not a Shure 57 or 58 or some really expensive microphone. Go on our lights. Here is a nice little portable light here. I know it's pink. The reason why it's pink is because it's $2 cheaper. But it gets pretty bright and also has different color temperatures. So depending on if you are inside or outside. So these are really nice because they can clip onto the phone. They can clip onto, I've got 3 or 4 of these. I basically got a small little light kit that I carry around with me as well. I believe we call these sticks. You call it a tripod in film school. They're called sticks. Use some sticks. Use a tripod. One of the sticks that I love now for making video are where's my other one at? Oh, here it is. This is the one I love because it's a selfie stick, right? But it's not. It's also a tripod. Yeah, and on there is a Bluetooth. Where I can take pictures of it and it comes off, so I have a remote on it. And this was like $14 to $20. I think I see it on sale, and it is pretty good. For me, one tip also, please, if you do phones, don't shoot this way. Shoot this way.
Yes.
Our televisions are like this for a reason. That's why, because you get more content. Whenever you see anybody take a video of something and it's this way, I'm thinking, you don't see anything like that. This way, you get the whole area right now. And so this is really nice. And even if you're walking around doing, of course you can just use it as a regular selfie stick. But for me, I do a lot of content where putting down a tripod. And this is a little short, but I can put on, there's usually a table or chair if I need it more eye length. if I'm making content directly, I can definitely sit down a great deal.
Where did you purchase that?
It's on Amazon. I'll have my email at the end if you want to email me the link. I did a review about it. It's called River Song. Some of my Doctor Who friends might know. This was a more robust one, and I can't remember what's the name of this one here. Utine, anyways, has an external one, but I like this one because it moves around a great deal. It's not really quite a selfie stick; it's more of a tripod. And also, if you remember back in the old phones, there's a little selfie mirror there. So my eyes aren't good enough to really use it, but I thought that was really cute. They had that as an option for that. And of course, any tripod you get. This is one I usually carry one of these when I travel to Europe because I can't carry a whole lot, and carry one of these tripods here. And you can use this as a light stand as well. So if you have one of these lights here, you can just put this on here because it's a 1/8" that you just put on there. And that way, I got a tripod and also a light stand. These are about $12. You can get them, anywhere in Walmart, Target, wherever they have, whatever main stores you have. Get them online. I think most of us buy stuff online now, anyway. So those are some of the tools I use to make content. And for a lot of us, even if you just use your phone to make content by itself, it's fine. Usually, let's see, do I got it in my pocket? Yeah, I do. I usually carry a lav with me because I do a lot of content. And how many times have you watched a video and it's windy, you can't hear anything at all? Again, here, this is like $5, I think $3 or $4 on Amazon, and you just plug it into your phone. And it's about a 4-foot lav, and your audio quality has just already gone through the roof. It's a whole lot better because this, versus that. It's a complete, it's a game changer, and it doesn't cost a whole lot. Did I just lose my mic? Yeah, I did. The little part here looks like it broke off, so let's put it back up. There we go. So that's really a big game changer, and I have a lot of friends that really love the wireless lavs. The problem is that to get a decent one, they're a couple $100, and a lot of y'all teach elementary. Y'all don't have that. You may not even have $5 sometimes, but this is and this has been pretty robust. I think I even washed this one time. And it still. I was like, oh, it still worked. So what you want is make sure it has 3 on here if you're using like on the iPhone or Android, because like 2 is for the speakers or for the earphones, and 1 is for the microphone. And basically, these don't need power because I guess the phones have the built-in power for the microphones and whatnot. And you could also use it if you talk to people as a phone call as well. Some of them, I didn't bring that one here, but some of them have a little place where you can plug in a headphone also. So that's some of the material I use for that as well. And I'll get to some content in a second here. Here's some ideas. I know you guys probably have even more ideas than this. Yes?
Actually, I'm sorry, going back to the previous slide, you were saying you could find those mics on Amazon, and I'm looking and seeing they only have the kind for the older phone that plugs into the headphone. I don't have headphones on my phone anymore. So
I think there is one. I still have an older phone right now as well, so I'm sure there are. I didn't bring it, but I have a USB lavalier mic that I can plug into my computer. So if some of y'all use a webcam, it actually has fantastic audio. This came from a session they were talking about microphones. I use USB microphones all the time. They work great for our purposes. And if you think of this, you have a little dot on your camera, on your webcam. That's the microphone. Versus a big, something bigger is going to have a better, response. Basically, a lot more of recording information that you're going to have. Yeah, I know they have them. If not, they have Bluetooth. You can use some Bluetooth ones as well. I'm kind of weary on Bluetooth a little bit because batteries just die. Wires is going to work and whatnot. So some of this is here: lessons, how-to videos, tutorials, lesson plans, reminders. All these things you can use for meeting. your students' needs. Now, of course, make sure you check your school policy about how to interact with students and things like that. I think if you put an Instagram page up there of here's how to play the recorder, and people can look at that, you're not really having interaction with students so much other than posting content there. Typically, I don't friend students. I sure wouldn't friend anybody if I taught public school. But if they have, I do have like a Herbert Mitchell page that someone could follow on Facebook, and so they could follow me on Instagram or something like that. And again, I post content that is appropriate for everybody. The videos I post are appropriate for everybody, and so I don't worry about that. And of course, you can make specific channels. You can make your recorder page, your guitar page for YouTube, and you all probably realize you can make another another Gmail account specifically for your YouTube brand and whatnot. So, anyways, so let me just play a little bit of some content from what I've done, and I don't know. We'll skip around this a little bit. This will show you a little bit of some of the things. Mainly, this video here is not so much an educational video, but you can see all that stuff there we can do on our phones now. And so I was trying to show, and there was a Radio Shack ad that was basically showing all the things on here on sale for Christmas. You can do all on your phone. So you can make music on it. There's a computer. There's a phone. The Speak and Spell on there. The calculator. Video games. The iPod. The first generation iPod. There. Cameras. Video cameras there. All that stuff we can do on the phone now. So I thought this would get a lot more hits, but it really didn't get a whole lot more hits. And you can see the lav I have down there. I got better because the lav was too low. I was trying not to get it in the frame. This was a little device to help you play guitar called Easy Fret. And if you look at the camera angles there, you can see there I have some lighting. You can see it in the reflection of my eyes. So a lot of these music theory videos get some hits. People like learning about music theory. This is the review of the lav, this one here. So that's the camera. So you can hear the difference. So you see some of the cool things you do with lighting. Lighting, in film school we learned you paint with lights. You see some of that backlighting. And I play do a lot of playing videos on piano and guitar. People love the boogie woogie stuff, so I do a lot of that. I'm a pretty sloppy player, but it's rock and roll. What are you gonna do? I do, every month I write a guitar study, and so I record it, and I'm going to show you little parts of like 3 or 4 of them. That lighting there I kind of like, and that lighting there is pretty nice. If some of y'all play guitar, don't judge my technique. That lighting's not too bad, So I experiment. I not only I record videos, I experiment with lights also to see what. This one you can see the stand, and you can see the lav down there on the stand pointing towards the guitar. This is before I had the dual lav. I don't like the background on this one, but you can see the same thing with the stand there and the lav pointed towards that. There's a little preview of what my Commodore 64 session. People were like, this.
Comfortable enough that I could play 2-hour set with this thing. This thing plays really well.
So I do a lot of reviews on guitars. Lavalien's okay there. You can see me,
I spent about 4 hours to print this thing up, and it's really cool.
I printed up I'm not really a brass player at all, but. So people were interested in that. I did it in my guitar, and you can put like a wet rag on and use heat to pull the dent out. I was so happy because I felt so bad when I dented up. So there's a review on that, the specific tripod there. This is in my guitar class. I teach them how to write a song. And so there's like a 15-minute video of going over how to write a song. Yeah. So you do some passionate parts about how music's important in your life as well. And you look at that lighting there; it's not horrible. It's not. I wouldn't say it's great. At least you can see me, and that's the whole. I think that's one reason why I like talking about light, so that you can at least see yourself. I took a metal class to learn how to make rings, and so I took a bunch of pictures of it to show the process of it. And anyways, so here's a ring. I actually made that ring there. That's kind of cool. The lighting there's pretty cool. So I made a video. I wrote a song and went and shot a music video for Christmas. And when I'm doing it, I'm lip syncing to it. I have my phone on that right there. I have my phone against the guitar so I can hear it. And then I'm just mouthing along there. And post, I was able to sync them all up together. So it's probably, anyways. And at the end, I always put my little tag there, how to get a hold of me if you want to get a hold of my content or whatnot like that. So I always I like to try to make it very easy for people to get a hold of me if they have a question. I get questions every once in a while about music theory, guitar. I get questions about some guitar I reviewed, something I reviewed, and having a place where they can go to my webpage and find me makes life a whole lot easier and whatnot. So, anyways, and that way, the intros I like to have as being really short, because I like a 2-second little blurb, get into your content, and then you go from there. For here, I made a, there it is. You know what? Don't get old. So let's look at this one here. Well, they're real short. So that's my little tag there, and the reason why I had the name on that on YouTube, it makes life a lot easier if they actually see the picture with the name there to know what it is. For a long time, I didn't do that.
I'm going to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on the recorder in D and G.
If some of y'all play recorder, well, don't judge my technique. It's been 20 years since I taught elementary music. Then I do my yeah, some of my friends give me some razz about me. So here is this Mary Had a Little Lamb on guitar. Same thing, got my little tag there.
I'm going to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on guitar in the D and G.
Then, this is probably more useful here, right? Having it close up. So, and probably what would have been more useful is if I had the music up there along with it, and that way they could follow it. And then more useful if I had a little bouncing ball going with that. And obviously that takes a little bit more time to make that content and whatnot. Anyways, those are the ones those are the ones I made. I'll show you this real quick because like sometimes this is not really educational. Anyways, I'll turn the music down. Anyways, these are little time-lapse videos. So that was just me putting air in the car before we drove over to San Antonio. And basically, do I have that on me? Yeah. So like this this is not my main phone here. This is the phone that I just use to kind of carry around and do time lapse and things like that as well. And it does up to 720p, which is enough. You know how much, you know, most of the content folks are going to watch anyways. You're not going to put it on a big screen. Some of my friends like, oh, you got to be able to have it where, you know, future-proof. I'm thinking, you're never going to show your film in a movie theater. No one's going to go to movie theaters at some point. So they're all going to watch everything online. Real briefly, let me go just show you some of the things. Like here's like on CD Baby, I have the last CD I made, and you could download it for, I think, was it 29 cents? I think it's as cheap as I can make it. But I just made it where you can listen to it also. So you don't have to even buy it. You can just go listen to it. I just wanted a place where people, come on, let's be honest. Avant-garde electronic music, no one's going to buy anyway. So if anybody wants to listen to it, I'm cool about it. This Spotify, I think is really cool that I can go on there and have that. There is the latest CD you could buy, and it's part of the add-on. So for $5, you can get it as an add-on. I'm not trying to sell you my CD. I'm just showing you places that you can put your content out there as well. And you know, in some ways, it does make it somewhat more legitimate. There's a book. So y'all can make. I got a couple of books on Kindle. I make about $12 a year off my books. You know, that's more than any English teacher would ever have thought I would have made. There's that CD right there. And I can't change the price. I wish it was $5, but it's a $9 bill. So anyways, and there's another CD there. That was a $10 bill. All right. So anyway, so here's the content that you go on there, and I'll just show you my film because I'm proud of it. The Rise of the Robots. We shot that in Nacogdoches, Texas. It was a really good learning experience, and really, you go look this up. You know, Star Wars is on here. You know, so it's kind of cool to be at a place. And I'll say this: that if you are one of the early adopters, like I was for YouTube, for a long time, I got tons and tons of views off of YouTube because I was there, 12 years ago when it first started. So if you see something that's new and you get on it right away and make content on it, search engine wise, you probably find that get hit more at the beginnings. Now, honestly, on YouTube, I don't get many hits anymore, but I used to get a lot. There's just my Facebook page just to show you. I'll show you my YouTube, and if you guys if you would like to subscribe, I could use more subscribers. Because if I get to the 10,000 subscriber mark, there's some cool things that happens, and I probably would have had that initially, but they changed the format over the years. They didn't have subscribers when YouTube first came out. They had like friends or connections or whatever. Anyways, but you can see on here they have the different content I put up here, guitar stuff. Some stuff is silly, but I make a playlist for music related stuff, guitar stuff, tech stuff, reviews, those type of things. So, and then that's how. So you can see, like, here's how to play guitar. I have a link for the films I made, rock history links. There's some of the big. There's that refrigerator one I talked about. 300,000 people watch that thing. Trying to fix that refrigerator. I do get questions about the refrigerator. I'm thinking, I'm not a refrigerator expert. I'm just some guy that went on YouTube and whatnot. So, any questions from any of y'all about stuff? I'll just basically, this is the kind of the setups I have. I think I already talked about my Canon camera. This camera I don't use as much for YouTube, but I use it for long stuff. So, and I strategically put it where I'm only in frame, so that way y'all don't have to worry about this. And of course, the other setup I use is my phone. I use my iPhone for a lot of things, but I still use lavs. I still use lights, things like that. And then the third one that I use is a webcam and a USB lavalier, and that was like $12, and it sounded fantastic. If some of y'all want to record your lectures in your classroom, that might be an easy way to go because you probably have the computer anyways there. But actually, I'll show you one other one I didn't put up there. It's in my pocket. If you notice, I got two lavs on. Well, this is recording, and basically I just plug it into my computer and take it out. I think it holds like, I don't know, like 30 hours of audio, something like that. And this was the $12. It's like $12 off of Amazon. And it's the one thing bad, it doesn't quite sync with video that great. But for audio purposes, for a lecture, it works great. And the nice thing is I can be away from my camera and have the lav on me and whatnot. Yes, ma'am.
What do you use to edit?
I use mainly on the phone. There's a little program that I, let's see, do I have it on here? There it is. On the phone, I use something called Splice. iMovie, I like a bit. It's a little heavy on my storage, and I make so much videos. But Splice is very small, and I can make I can do my little title, put my content in it, put a little tag at the end of it, and upload something from that. On the PC, Mac, I mainly use Premiere. I have I'm still using a version I bought, the CS6 version of Premiere, and it still works for a while, because I haven't gone 4K yet, because why? Why go 4K at this point? There's already 8K out, and I think the human eye can't even see past 4K, honestly, for the most part. So that's some of the software I use. On Android, does anybody have a really good, because I haven't found a really good video editor for the Android. Does anyone have one they use? I'll still keep searching. I still haven't found one that I like. There's some out there that work, but I haven't found one, and I would be willing to pay for one if I find one that actually works. Yes.
It's not for Android, but there's one called Wondershare Filmora, and it has a lot of text that you can add to your screen, and pop-ups, and things that you see teachers doing nowadays. You can add Instagram videos, everything.
Is that Mac? I mean, is that iOS?
It's for PC or Mac.
Okay.
What's it called? Wondershare.
Wondershare.
Filmora. All one word. You can Google it and it'll spell it right for you.
One other thing I'll share, I won't go into it, but if you do use YouTube, download YT Studio. It's from Google also, and you can edit your content a lot better on. You can edit the material, your tags, your video, your pictures, things like that, a lot easier on with that piece of software. I only found out about it about a year ago, and it's really changed my. It's called YT Studio. I guess it stands for obviously YouTube Studios. It's from Google, and you can do a lot of really great things. Instagram, there's a lot of different filters and plugins. I'm a photographer also, so I'm kind of a purist. I like shooting something in camera, but it's just honestly the new iPhones have that fake depth of field, and it looks fantastic. I would be hard to tell sometimes if that's a DSLR or not. So all you try to do is get that cinema look where you have your face in focus and the rest is out of focus, and you can do that now with a phone with two cameras. So it's pretty amazing. Anyways, that's about it. I think I'm almost done at this point as well. If there's any other little questions, yes, ma'am. I've got 4 minutes left. Let me throw this up here. If you want to get, golly, you can hardly see that. If you just send me an email to midgley MIDGLEY film@gmail.com, that would be great. And the rest are links to some web pages I have and whatnot.
What was that thing you had on the guitar fretboard?
Yeah, it's called Easy Fret. It's pretty good. Honestly, playing guitar, I've taught guitar so much I can teach anybody to play guitar. So, but it kind of worked. Yeah, it was really hard to get it exactly right where it hit the frets all together. But I do reviews of a lot of guitar items, and that was one I thought, it'd be kind of cool to try this out. All right. Well, I think that's it for today, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming out. You've been a great audience, and I'm really glad. Go out there and make some content for your students. You rock.